Susan Williams and Don BOSCH with us to talk a little bit more about Congressman Jimmy Duncan and his influence on East Tennessee. Susan, what story do you hope is in the book? I know you've known him for years.
I have known him for a long time, and I will say that Jimmy, we talked about the Iraq War vote, and I will have to say he is one of the most principled people that I've ever known, and certainly probably that served in Congress. You know what has impressed me the most about him, though? When Lynn got sick, Lynn, his wife, got sick a few months ago, he wrote an incredible letter in one of our local newspapers about the love of his life. And I'd never seen that in the congressman. I know they get along well, and but they were kind of like a yin and yang. But he just wrote this phenomenal love letter to Lynn Duncan before she died. And I hope that it probably isn't in the book, but it should be.
Don, how about you? I know you've known the congressman as well for a long time.
Yeah, I got to know him in his past life as a judge, and he really was influential on the beginning of my law practice as a young criminal defense lawyer where there was no public defender's office, and we were picking up cases every day and really having to move a lot of matters through court quickly. I would like to see in the book, however, one, I know Congressman Duncan to be principled. I have disagreed politically with him on many occasions, but I have always admired him. I've always found him to be pleasant, thoughtful, and like Susan said, he's committed, he is principled. But I'd like to hear him say what his biggest mistake or regret was that he didn't get to do in Congress, and how he really felt about Donald Trump. Because I know Jimmy Duncan, and I know he's going to support his party, but I bet at the end of the day, that kind of personality didn't suit Congressman Duncan, Judge Duncan, Jimmy Duncan very well.
John North, you've read the book. We talked about a lot of stories, but certainly we didn't get to all. What stood out to you? Was there one that people will be really interested in?
There are a number. Here's the thing that really sticks out that I appreciate, and these guys know it. He's a very self-effacing but funny man. He is humble, and he loves to tell stories on himself. And so there are many of those where either he gets into a conundrum or something happens in the courtroom, either as a lawyer or a judge, and he's got to suddenly think really quick on his feet about how to fix something, or his family gets into some mischief that he has to kind of deal with as a congressman. It's fun. It's just kind of a fun, funny, anecdotal read.
Susan, you mentioned the Iraq War vote. You're the representative Republican on the panel here. What will he be remembered most for in the GOP?
Well, I don't think it will be that vote, because ultimately when things turned really bad in Iraq, Jimmy came out looking pretty good, as he said. I think his service to his constituents was something that he took great pride in. His office workers knew that he really cared about his constituents, and they really worked hard to make sure that when people had problems with their Social Security or their disabilities, he took care of them. And so I think he'll be remembered for being principled and for being a really good congressman to his people, the folks in this 2nd District.
Susan, we appreciate that perspective. Don, thank you for joining us. John North, is always good to have you. If you'd like to see our exit interview with Congressman Jimmy Duncan, you can find it on WBIR.com. He talks about those very things, the service to his constituents, number one important to him.